guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a very different type of video for you. This is going to be the first in a series of my top 5 favorite products in different areas. Today's is going to be my top 5 foundations, and then, over the course of the next few weeks I'm probably going to do, my top 5 lip products, my top 5 primers, my top 5 this, that, that kind of thing. You get the idea. But I do want to go over my top 5 for you, tell you what my preference is as far as finish, let you know how these perform on me, and that way you have an idea of the different finishes out there, what the different brands carry. And yeah, I know people say this in their videos, these are the top 5 that work best for me. But of course, keeping in mind that everybody has different skin types, and so what works for me may not work the best for some of y'all. So these are just my top 5, what I would recommend. But then again, I will tell you what my preference is, like my skin type, so that you have an idea. So let's go ahead and get started with just kind of like an overview of my skin. I have pretty normal skin. It's rare. It's really my nose that'll get a little bit oily throughout the day. I by no means have oily skin. Even in the winter, sometimes I have a little bit of dry skin, a few dry patches here and there. Nothing too extreme, but I really do try to keep hydrated all year long, but especially in the winter. I'm very dedicated, that's the word, dedicated, at night cream, morning cream, washing my face in the morning and at night, applying eye cream, applying face cream, especially at night. It's so important. Now, especially in the winter as well, when I wash my face, I get that like tight kind of feel, and that usually I think means it's kind of dry. So I've told you before, I love using the Josie Maran Whipped Argan Oil Body Butter for my face. Does wonders. The First Aid Beauty Ultra Repair Cream, again, I use that on my face, use it at night. Oh, my skin just loves it. In the morning, I always wash my face. I use like Clean and Clear Morning Burst, and then what I do is I try to apply a moisturizer that has sunscreen, just because you want to try and take care of your skin during the day. Even when the sun's not out, they say the rays still are, they're still shining through, so they can still damage your skin. So that being said, I do have normal skin, not really, I don't really have acne prone skin. I don't know if this is TMI, but if I eat something that upsets my stomach, usually I'll get, a little bit of acne here and there. It's not very often. And so there really isn't a lot of covering up that I have to do. So I don't usually gravitate towards those super full coverage, like the Kat Von D Lock-It Tattoo Foundation. I used that for a little bit, and I tried to sheer it out as much as possible, and it was just too much for me. I know that I've heard that that's an amazing foundation for those who really do need coverage, and so that particular one just wasn't for me. So that is my skin type. That is kind of what I, it's I hate to say this, and this is by no mean bragging, I really don't have high maintenance skin. And so it's just, I like to look for things that, so going into my favorite types of foundations, I like those that make my skin look dewy. Obviously not oily, but just I love that dewy, glowy type of look, which isn't for everybody. A lot of people like the matte look. I tend to like the dewy, glowy look. And usually, I try and mix things into my foundation to kind of help enhance that. And so that's what I usually look for in a foundation. That does not mean I am opposed to matte foundations, because you're going to see a couple in here that are matte that I absolutely love. So that is my preference as far as the type of foundation. So that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Actually, one other thing. To let you know, my skin tone is really kind of a light with neutral undertones. I really do have like a yellow undertone, but I find that when I use a foundation with yellow undertones, it just deepens or darkens my skin tone, and then it doesn't match my neck, and then it's just, I'm like, no, I can't do this. So what I have found out is that those foundations that are like light with neutral undertones, and that's what I look for when I'm on Sephora.com, when I'm looking for my shade. Most of the time Sephora will include the description of what type of color it is, and so anytime I order light with neutral, it pretty much matches me perfectly. I have not had an issue in a very, very long time with matching. And so I don't even go into store anymore where they try to match you at MAC or at Sephora or at Ulta. I'm like, y'all just, you know, you just don't know. I'm sorry. I can't find someone who can truly match my skin tone. And so I've just gotten to where I do that on my own, and I have had huge success with that. And it's just kind of, it's less stressful that way. So let's go ahead and get started. These are actually, the way I show them to you is going to be how I rank them in my top 5, 1, 2, 3, you know, my very, very favorite down to my, you know, top 5, but the 5th one out of the 5. So let's go ahead and get started. The very first one, my favorite of all time, and I don't know that that will ever change, is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place Makeup. This one is a lot of people's favorites, and for good reason. I will tell you, this is the foundation I used for my engagement photos, for my bridal photos, my wedding day because I did my own makeup. I used this on my wedding day. I even used it at work for my corporate headshot. This is the foundation I used, and it photographs so beautifully. I mean, so flawless. My photographer, who we love very dearly, he did such an incredible job. He had asked me when he first arrived on the day of our wedding, he said, you know, I hope you had them use a foundation that wasn't going to give a whole lot of flashback. And I said, I got you covered. I did my own makeup, and I used a very photo-friendly foundation. Our pictures came out so nice, and I was like, I'm impressed that I did my own makeup. It looks so good. I'm not bragging or anything. I was just very proud of myself. Anyways, this is the most amazing. I'm trying to think if it's like full coverage. It's not, so it's not Kat Von D. I'm going to kind of compare things to that just because to me that is the ultimate in full coverage. It's not that extreme, and I think the Double Wear line, they do make a heavier coverage than this. So this is still pretty full coverage. I don't use a ton of it because then it looks cakey, but it does go on matte and it is full coverage. So it's just, again, the primary thing for this is pictures. If you have pictures coming up for whatever reason, this is the most amazing foundation. Gives your skin such a flawless look. For reference, I am in the shade 2N1, which is Desert Beige, and so I am going to give you swatches of these just so that you have an idea of what they look like. Sometimes when I'm looking for a foundation, I am like on YouTube trying to find out, okay, which one of these is my shade. Okay, this is what the Double Wear looks like on my skin tone right there. Matches perfectly. And again, I cannot rave enough about that foundation. That is it. That is why it is my absolute number 1, hands down. Let's move on to the second one. The second one is a dewy, glowy type of finish, and that is why I absolutely love it. It is the MAC Mineralize foundation. It comes with SPF 15. There is no foundation that I have ever found to compare to this one as far as a dewy finish. I love this. It is absolutely amazing. I can kind of go both like 2 ways. This is NW20. I can get away with NW25, even though that is a little bit darker. I can squeak by using that one. This one is a little on the lighter side, so I just warm it up with a little bit of bronzer. But oh my goodness, this is such a tried and true. The Mineralized foundation they had before this, before it was in this pretty bottle, they discontinued it. I was so upset. I was like, what do you mean? It's one of those things where you finally find out something you absolutely love and they discontinue it. And it's like, So they brought it back. It's just in a different little bottle. It's probably got a little, I don't even remember what they enhanced, what they changed, but I am so glad they brought it back. Very, very, very pleased with this foundation. Have been using it, again, for years. It's got the little twist and the little pump, which is really, really nice. So you're going to see, compared to the Estee Lauder, this is on the lighter. It's lighter than the other one because, like I said, I do have to warm it up just ever so slightly. Oh my goodness. Best foundation, best dewy foundation ever. I wouldn't say it's absolute full coverage. It's probably in the range of light to medium coverage. I mean, it covers me very well. So I'm always hesitant when I say light, because light, I think of the Face and Body Foundation by MAC. But yeah, so I would say like more on the medium side of the light to medium range, but it's absolutely beautiful. My third favorite is one back in the day that Jaclyn Hill had raved about, so I was like, I'm picking that up. Oh my goodness, so glad I did. When I'm done with this one, I will buy another one. It's the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Stick Foundation. I was not crazy about the reformulated liquid foundation from the Ultra HD line. That was a little disappointing. I had to return mine. That's how disappointing it was. The stick foundation is, oh my goodness, so amazing. And what I love about it, because in the mornings what I do is I usually pump my foundation onto the back of my hand, and then I dot it all around my face so I can kind of evenly distribute it, and then I buff it out. With this one, I don't have to get my fingers dirty, my hands dirty. I just swipe, 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 and blend it out. It's so amazing. I am in the shade 118, which is equivalent to Y325. And so it comes obviously in a stick form. I have used quite a bit of it. I'm probably down to the last half. And this is what it looks like. It's very, very creamy. It's so soft. It blends out like a dream. And this one, now I don't know if this one has as dewy a finish as that MAC Mineralize, but this is still pretty darn dewy, glowy. I mean, it's just amazing. It's incredible. Again, I can't say enough good things about it. And it's pretty, like I would say this is medium coverage. It's pretty good as far as coverage goes. And so, like I said, I love that I don't have to really get my hands messy when using it, but this is what it looks like right here on my skin tone. And so I think I can get away with using the 123, but I don't know. I'm a creature of habit, so I stick to the 118. But that's what that looks like. Amazing. Alright guys, we're down to our last two. The next one is the Josie Maran Vibrancy Foundation. Now, this is another dewy foundation. I really, really love the coverage. What I really love about this one now, I feel like there's some light neutral shades that some of them are a little bit on the lighter side and some of them are a little bit more on the creamy, warmer side. And this is one of them, and I love it when they're on the creamy, warmer side because then I don't really have to, if I'm in a rush, I don't have to worry about bronzer. Oh, I forgot the bronzer. You know what? That's okay because this already kind of has that warming tone to my face. I don't know how else to describe it. Not by any means that it darkens up my complexion or anything. It's just, I don't know, like a healthier warm, if that makes any sense. In this one, I am in the shade Euphoric RG20. I absolutely love it. The bottle is so cute. I love the rose gold top. Again, a dewy finish. I would say this is also medium coverage. It does come with a pump. And the coverage is very, very nice. Let's see. Let me blend this out. And there you go, right there. So it's so soft, so smooth. I love it. It's absolutely worth your time. With any of these, if you're kind of on the fence about either your shade or if you're gonna like it, go into Sephora and they pump it into a little, not a tester, but you take home like a little container. That's a lot of times when I'm on the fence about a foundation. I will do that so I don't waste, you know, buying it and then, oh my gosh, it's just not meant for me. I will have them give me a little trial or sample, I guess, amount, and then I try it out. So if you're on the fence about any of these, head into your Sephora and they'll give you a sample, and that way you can try it out, see if it's worth your time or your money. Last but certainly not least is actually a matte foundation. So I think it's funny how my first and fifth are mattes. It's the Marc Jacobs Remarkable Foundation. Now I know this one is so expensive. I'm going to tell you, this bottle I have had for quite some time and I will probably never run out of this. I'm not even joking. One is probably because I don't use it every day, but two, you need such a little amount of this product because it is, I'm trying to think how I can describe this to you. It's highly concentrated pigment. So there was one time I put a little too much and during the day I was just like, oh, I can't do this. This is a little too cakey. I put very, very little, just dot it around my face, buff it in. Oh my goodness. Now it's a matte look, so it's, you know, not my typical dewy, but oh my goodness, it gives such a flawless finish to the point where I don't even have to use concealer when I use this foundation because it pretty much covers my dark eye circles. That's how pigmented it is. It's just amazing. So you really got to shake it up before you use it. I'm in the shade 33 Beige. Now, I will say the range on this one is different than the range on that gel foundation, because I used to use that one, and I feel like these are, the shade I was in that one was way too dark for me in this one. So I had to go lighter. Again, 33 Beige. It comes, it unscrews, and this is not even a dropper. It's a little wand. And so what you end up having to do is you end up having to just kind of place some on your hand, just like that. And I mean, honestly, like, that is even too much for my whole face. But do you see that little drop? That will cover my entire face flawlessly. Too much, like I said, will just look too cakey. So for my ladies that do need full coverage, this is right up your alley. Again, because you don't need a whole lot, this should last you a very long time. I know it's pricey, but you know, the Marc Jacobs things usually are. You're gonna see this is probably the most yellow tone foundation within these top 5. I find the Marc Jacobs line is harder to match your tone, but I was able to figure it out somehow. I don't know. That's what that looks like right there. So you see how it's probably the darkest of the 5. I definitely don't need bronzer when I use that one. That's probably borderline going too dark on my skin tone, but it actually works out just fine. I just don't add bronzer because then it truly does look too dark. So that is, like I said, complete full coverage. I mean, because it is ultra concentrated pigment, it's probably along the lines of the Kat Von D. It's just easier to use for someone like me who doesn't need a lot of full coverage, or who doesn't need any full coverage. But I do want to use the foundation for that flawless feel. The Kat Von D is the pump, so sometimes you get too much. With this one, because it's just got that wand that you just need to scrape off a little onto your hand, it makes it so much easier to control how much you apply onto your hand and then onto your face. So like I said, ultra matte foundation on that one, but it will, again, it's pricey, it will last you a very, very long time. So before I let you go, guys, because that wraps up all 5 of my top 5 foundations, I do want to give you the verse of the day. And today's comes from Luke 9:23, and it says, "Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross daily and follow me." Guys, I hope this has encouraged you. I hope you're having a most wonderful day. I hope you'll give this a thumbs up if you found this video helpful, if you want to see more in this series of the top 5. So yeah, just give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you'd like to get notified of any future videos. I try to post about 4 to 5 times a week. Sometimes it just doesn't turn out that way, but I try to do my best to post videos during the week. So I have very exciting ideas of series of videos I want to start doing. I will share those with you very, very soon. Thank you to all of you who have subscribed to my channel already, because we made it to 900 subscribers, and I can't tell you how excited that makes me. Whether it keeps increasing or not, this has already been a success to me, because I've been able to share my passion with you, and that I've already achieved my goal. So thank you guys again for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.